Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Welcome to Smoke the Podcast. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 5.
Episode 5.
So tonight, tell us what we have for our cigar.
So we have actually a cigarillo. So these are going to be a little bit smaller. The Garcia y Vega. Game in Blue, which is the vanilla flavor.
Okay. For the whiskey, we have tried and true Gentleman Jack.
Ah, there we go.
I think everybody might have some experience with Gentleman Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least
Jack Daniels
Jack
himself.
Daniels. And our firearms topic today is going to be shooting ranges.
Great topic. I'm excited for it.
All right, let me go ahead and light up.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Since I am the faster smoker.
Yeah.
Just kidding, the slower smoker.
The slower smoker, yes. So the cool thing about these is with the Garcia y Vegas, they're short. I mean, well, what's cool about these in particular, obviously as cigarillos, they're pretty short. It probably will only take you about 10 minutes to get through one of these. They also make a game cigar. The game is actually the model of the cigar, so to speak.
Okay.
And then this one in particular, like I said, is blue, so it's vanilla. But they make them in all different flavors. So these are actually flavored cigarillos. They also make them in a full-size cigar as well. So if you like these in the cigarillos, you can actually buy full-size cigars. The great thing about these, too, is they come pre-wrapped, like in a, what would that be, like a foil kind of sealed wrapper. Mm-hmm. They stay very fresh. I actually ordered these probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and they're as fresh as the day I ordered them.
Yes, I've had a couple packs of these, and they all taste the same. I mean, they're very consistent.
Yeah, so I'm lighting mine up now.
Right off the bat, you could taste the vanilla flavor. Very prominent.
Really easy light.
Very easy light. All these cigarillos seem to be
really great.
Easy to light.
Great easy draw too.
Oh yeah, I like the draw on this thing.
So, I think it is JR's Cigars online says describes them as one of the most popular and best-selling machine-made cigars and cigarillos for over 200 years. Garcia y Vega cigars feature great construction and quality along with mellow, smooth, classic tobacco flavors. They are available in a number of different styles, sizes, and packaging, like I mentioned already. The Garcia Vega Game cigars offer an array of fruity and delicious flavors and foil packaging. These cigars will never go out of style, and I can attest to that. The first time I had one of these was the first week of my freshman year of college. Uh-huh. My roommates knew that I smoked cigars, wanted to try a couple cigars, and I thought, what better way to start them out with a foil-wrapped Garcia y Vega vanilla cigar. Really easy way to get in. This, in my opinion, we've had some pretty light and mild cigars. If you're looking for the lightest, the mildest, this is probably the way to go. I love smoking these while mowing the lawn. Yeah,
these are actually pretty good smokes for being cigarillos.
Right.
I mean, the packaging looks like you can buy them at a liquor store, which... Can you? I mean, I've never looked for them.
I don't know with these ones in particular, but there's a lot of them that are similar. Not quite the quality that these have, though. I mean, I've had some Swisher Sweets.
That's what I was going to say, is the quality of these is pretty good.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much when I first smoked one of these.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, they outperform a lot of the other cigarillos. So, what do we have for whiskey? Obviously, we talked about it being Gentleman Jack, but can you give me any details on it before we do the pour?
It's a little Gentleman Jack. Everybody knows Gentleman Jack.
Oh, that is, yeah. Or knows Jack.
I guess the difference is it's twice mellowed for smoothness.
Okay.
And according to Jack Daniels, it's balanced oak flavor with notes of caramel or caramel, however you pronounce it, and vanilla.
Oh, this should pair really well with the cigarillo.
It should.
I didn't even think about that.
I did.
Oh, okay.
So let's go ahead and get a pour here.
This is the best part right here. There you go. A good solid 2-finger pour there.
All right, cheers.
Cheers to Gentleman Jack in the Jack Daniels classes. Initial aroma is actually pretty mild. Oh, that is smooth, man.
It's definitely smooth. That's one of the things about Gentleman Jack. This is one of the first whiskeys that I really liked, and it is because of the smoothness. Now, the one thing I will say about Gentleman Jack is It's not bursting with flavor like some of your other whiskeys. Very smooth, though.
Yeah. What's weird, though, is as soon as you said that, I actually tasted the vanilla in there, which is kind of strange because I don't know that I've really ever noticed it before.
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely smell it.
Yeah. It's a really nice. It's just got such a smooth aroma and taste. I think it's just one of the easier sipping whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to argue that this would be my go-to. I know Maker's 46 is your go-to sipping whiskey.
Yes.
This would probably be mine.
Yes,
very very delicious.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. I mean, because it's kind of like the step up from regular Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Although I did see online $19.99.
Wow.
For the 750 milliliter on Total Wine. It's rated pretty high too. 4.5 stars by the users.
Yeah.
So people like it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one that you might want to pick up if you don't want to spend a lot of money. And you want something pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I talk to a lot of people that tell me, "Oh, I love whiskey," and you start actually talking to them about, "Oh, well, what ones have you tried and this and that?" And I feel like Gentleman Jack is one of the first things you hear out of people's mouth when you ask them, "Oh, what higher end or sipping whiskey have you tried?" And a lot of them really don't have a wide variety that they've tried, but this is just number one.
I would always consider Gentleman Jack as kind of the gateway to sipping whiskeys.
Yes. You start drinking that, and you're really gonna start going, man, I want to start trying simple.
Because the people that drink Jack Daniels, well, my grandfather drinks Jack Daniels and sips it, but a lot of the younger generations will. That's a mixer. I mean, Jack and Coke is very popular, and Jack Daniels and ginger ale, really popular.
Yeah.
This one, I don't necessarily know if people mix it. I don't, and I wouldn't, because if I was going to mix it, I would mix it with something cheaper.
Yeah.
But it's good, and a lot of people, this is kind of like their step up. Like, oh, okay, I like whiskey, I like Gentleman Jack,
Yeah.
You drink it on the rocks or however you like it.
Yep.
Neat.
Yep. Yeah, and it is one that I can pretty much drink any which way. So it's a really, really great whiskey in my opinion. Really good.
All right, so let's move on to our topic.
Yeah.
Shooting ranges.
Shooting ranges.
Personally, there's I kind of break it down into three different ones. Your indoor range, your outdoor range, and then just your open desert style shooting. What do you like?
Personally, I would rather just be in the open desert. Doing a lot of open air shooting to me it's just all around more fun. I enjoy myself more. There's a lot more that I can do and I have availability to do. Mm-hmm. If I had to choose between that and any other type, I probably would choose that every time. If I had to pick anything else, it would probably be outdoor range, but not for pistol and rifle so much as it would be just for shotguns.
Okay.
Having the actual trap and skeet ranges is kind of it's hard to recreate that out in the desert.
Oh yeah, it is. To have the machines that throw clays for you.
Right, the high house, low house, having them go at the same time, things like that. I mean, you'd have to invest in a really good setup to be able to do that.
Now, that was a very loaded question. Because really, it's like anything else. What range do you prefer? My question would be, well, what kind of guns are you going to be shooting?
Right.
How much time do you have?
Right.
How much money do you have?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all that stuff is important. But we can just kind of run through the pros and cons of each range style, beginning with the indoor range. What do you like about indoor ranges, and what do you not like about indoor ranges?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's not a whole lot that I enjoy about indoor ranges. The things that I would say personally that I enjoy about indoor ranges is that generally they're close and they're convenient, or you can get to them pretty quickly. Other than that, I guess the other good benefit is if you wanted to just go out and shoot handguns, it's a real quick and easy way to get it done. Other than that, I can't stand indoor ranges, to be honest with you. I do not like them. What about you? What would you say the pros are of an indoor range?
Well, for me, it would be convenience, 100%.
Yeah.
Because if you want to go to an indoor range, I mean, you can literally go and go from your house to the range, or at least from where I live, and be back home within a couple of hours. 2 hours.
Yeah.
So indoor ranges are usually you rent a lane for a specific amount of time. Usually you pay per hour. That's really the only reason why I would go to an indoor range. The times I've ended up there is typically I got a new pistol and I want to go shoot it today.
Right.
I picked it up after, waiting 10 days and excited, and I just need to get out there and shoot it really quick.
Right.
Just to see what it feels like, and,
Yeah.
just to kind of knock that, just to get some rounds through it,
Yeah, to scratch the itch, so to speak.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's literally just to get out there and get it done. I know a lot of guys like them for, like I said, more for pistol marksmanship. Honestly, if you're training for anything like concealed carry or for, basically anything to do with handgun marksmanship, they are pretty convenient, and they're easy, and I know, it's usually a time blocked. That's how you pay for it. You pay by the hour or by 30 minutes. A lot of the times, though, if the ranges are slow, you'll pay for an hour and you can stay as long as you want. But generally in those ranges, you have such a limited amount of guns or weapon types that you can shoot. You don't really spend more than an hour in an indoor range, at least in my experience.
Yeah, in my experience also.
Yeah.
Not more than an hour.
Yeah.
The other cool thing about indoor ranges, but you can also go certain outdoor ranges, is gun rentals.
Yeah.
If you want to try out specific kind of gun, it's really easy just to go in there. Just be prepared. You're going to have to use their ammo for the most part.
Which is quite a bit more expensive oftentimes than...
Yeah, so, the cons of indoor ranges, the list is going to be a little bit bigger for me.
Yeah, definitely.
The big thing about indoor ranges is they're loud.
Yeah.
They're super loud. I usually double up on my ear protection, where the little foam rolling, and then with my big ear protection on the outside.
Yeah.
And especially if somebody's shooting a bigger caliber handgun, even just like a .357 Magnum revolver,
Right.
I've seen, people all the way down the range just kind of like peek their head out and go, man, what's this guy shooting,
Right.
Because most people are shooting, 9mm or
Right.
Smaller,
and
smaller
God
calibers like that.
forbid you go into one of the ranges that allows you to shoot slugs. I know there's a local range indoor that allows you to shoot slugs out of shotguns and, the .44 Magnum rifles and pistols. I mean, it's just, before you know it, there's just so much like going on. It's very hard sometimes to focus on your shooting when you've got all of this noise around you. That's definitely an annoying part of being in a indoor range.
Yes, and that's one of those one thing that you don't really notice if you're not a shooter. You've never been to different places.
Right.
You don't really notice until the first time I shot was an indoor range, and I thought that's just how loud guns are.
Yeah.
And then you go shooting a couple other times, and you think, oh, well, I'm just used to it being loud.
Yeah.
And then you go to indoor range again, you're like, wow, this is really loud.
Way loud, yeah.
Some of the other cons, in my opinion, a little expensive.
Yeah, and it depends, too. It depends on what you're doing. But, I would say as a whole, they're generally more expensive than most of the other ranges out there.
Especially if you're going to be renting and having to buy the ammo there.
Right. That's really where they become the most expensive. Generally, to rent a lane and maybe to get a target or two, it's not that bad. But once you start going, oh, I want to rent this gun and maybe that gun, and I need 50 rounds for each gun or 100 rounds, that's where it goes from a $15 range day to a $200 range day quickly. Yeah,
and be prepared. You're going to have ear protection, obviously, and it's not. I'm not saying that because of anything. That they require it. If you want to be crazy and try to shoot in that thing without ear protection, that's on you. But they will not allow it. So make sure you have ear protection. Make sure you have shooting glasses also, because they will make you wear them. Yeah, buy them or rent. Yeah. I know there's a lot of places that'll make you just buy them outright. Oh yeah. Yeah. Other than that, from an indoor range, you're not going to have that much space. So you have that to deal with. The range is not going to be long. The one that I go to is maybe 50 yards, if that.
Yeah, most of them are actually about 25 yards, really.
And really for what they're for, if you shouldn't really be shooting pistols,
Right.
At 50 yards.
Right.
And so, it kind of makes sense. The one I go to though will allow you to shoot 22 with anything, so you can shoot a rifle with a 22.
Right.
22 long rifle.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think and again, like I said, it all depends on what you're using it for. If you're just going and shooting pistols and working on your marksmanship for handguns, it's really not a bad option. I mean, you really only need 25 to 50 yards at the most, and that's what you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn how to shoot faster there than you will, going anywhere else, just because it generally is the most convenient to go check in real quick, get a lane, shoot for 30 minutes or so and leave. Which actually made me think of one pro, that I didn't think of before, but a lot of them offer memberships. And if you're going all the time, that's where an indoor range would make more sense, because the membership oftentimes is far cheaper than going 2 or 3 times a month and having to pay the fee. Again, that's an aside, so I'll go right back to where we were at. But the downside is you generally can only shoot pistols. You can maybe, like the range that I generally go to that's indoor, you can shoot slugs out of shotguns, which I hate. That is just so loud. It's just unnecessary in my opinion in such a small range. And I mean, as fun as it is to shoot lever action rifles and things like that, a lot of the times, I mean, you should really be shooting more than 25 yards with some of those bigger guns. So, I think that's an issue. I don't like how small the bays can be.
Yes, that's another thing I was going to bring up right now.
I sometimes almost feel like the bays are closing in on me. They're just so tight, and I feel like you don't have enough room to move around or to put all of your equipment down. Yeah. And then the other thing is you're constantly getting peppered with other people's brass flying up and over or all over the place. And
I was going to say, you're in very close proximity to other people.
Right.
And, the problem is not everybody has the same kind of training maybe, and they might, point the gun at you, not necessarily on purpose, but...
for lack of...
they have lack of muzzle discipline.
Yeah, lack of knowledge, lack of experience with these guns and things. I would have to say, I couldn't agree more with you. I would say 90% of the time that I've spent in indoor ranges, I've been next to or near somebody that had absolutely no experience on how to shoot a gun, was able to hand their ID to the guy at the front register, have a quick 5-minute seminar on how to load and fire this gun, and then was handed a gun and ammunition, pushed into the bay, and had no other supervision otherwise.
Yeah.
Don't know how to clear a jam, don't know what to do when reloading, don't know, hey, it's not a great idea to point this thing down the rest of the bays where everyone is standing. It's just, to me, I feel like at some point...
And that's one thing. It's literally just handing your ID. You don't need a firearm safety certificate or anything to shoot at a range.
Yeah.
You just hand them your ID and
all of a sudden, here you go. Here's a gun. Here's some ammo. Enjoy yourself and
have at it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think a lot of these people are in these positions where they have absolutely no idea. Hey, I think it'd be great to go out and try shooting a gun for the first time. And are handed essentially a deadly weapon with very little to absolutely no training at all, and now you're stuck in a very small room with this person, and that's something that really bothers me.
So let's move on. Let's move on to the outdoor range. The outdoor ranges, typically they have different ranges where you're going to be shooting, and a lot of them have a lot of private ranges that you can rent for the day,
right?
Which would more mimic being out in the open desert, but unfortunately around here there's you got to rent them pretty far in advance,
right?
But for the most part I like just going to a regular outdoor range. You pay for the ones that I go to, you pay one fee for the day, you don't pay per hour. And you can just kind of shoot all day. And if you wanted to take a big family, make it a bigger event, then you can rent one, and it depends. It's typically, I think the one I go to is like $25 a person for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like that because it's kind of convenient for me because I have one that's not that far from my house.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you like? You like going to outdoor range?
I like outdoor ranges. They are pretty convenient because you're right. It's a lot. To me, it seems like it's a lot more inviting as far as like, bringing a group of people, or, you can spend all day there if you wanted to try out both multiple calibers, multiple guns. The one thing that I generally don't like about outdoor ranges is yes, oftentimes the ranges are sectioned off by what you can and can't shoot, and so it can be a little frustrating when you're on a range where you want to be able to shoot maybe long-range rifles and pistols, but can't shoot them both at the same time or in the same range.
Yeah, it could be a little...
Yeah, but other than that, to be honest...
Inconvenient.
Yes, it can be inconvenient. But other than that, I mean, they're really great because you really can take your time. That, in all honesty, that's the best place to go to, like, if you were going to sight in a rifle or just do general target practice. It's really great because you can really just take your time. The other thing that I like about it is you have a range master at all times on the range that is keeping kind of an eye on everybody. He's letting everyone know when you can go out, and when the line firing on the line ceases, when you can go out and check your targets, and really it's just maintaining control over the entire range, and that makes me feel a lot safer than like being, for example, in an indoor range where you have a range master who's behind two other closed doors and isn't always keeping an eye on everything that's going on. And so I really like more of the safety as well. The other thing, which I mentioned earlier, that I love about outdoor ranges is having access to trap and skeet ranges.
Okay.
To me, that's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, really great practice for what we do, bird hunting. It's just really, really good. And that again, I feel like you can't really replicate that cheaply, I should say. I'm sure you could replicate it, but you couldn't do it cheaply in a desert range.
So, just to kind of go over, if you've never been to an outdoor range, it's pretty cool the way they do things. At least the one that I go to. Once you get there, you check in the main office, and you pay your fee for the day. You sign your waiver. And the way they're mostly run is when you get to the specific range you want to shoot at, like say you're going to shoot pistols. The one I go to, you can shoot pistols and shotguns, in one range, then you can shoot rifles in the other. You get there, and about every 15 to 20 minutes or so, they have what they call a line break. And pretty much what you have to do during the line break is you're going to... make sure your weapons are all unloaded, and you're going to have to open the action on all of your weapons. And the range master is going to go through, and he's going to check every weapon one by one to make sure that it is unloaded and that the action's open. And then everybody has to stand behind the line. You cannot touch ammo or your weapons while the line is cold. That's what that's the terminology they use.
Yeah.
Once they decide that everything is good, then they'll let you go out and set up targets, move your targets, check your targets, do whatever you want to do. The one I go to, they'll let you shoot fruit and things like that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then once everybody is back in, then they say the line's hot and you're ready to fire again. And that's a pretty neat way to do that. There's a lot of control. The range masters are very very strict. I've seen a couple of incidents where this guy didn't really know what he didn't mean to, but he took his pistol and he walked behind his friend but didn't point it in a safe direction, and the range master corrected that really fast. Yeah. And told him why that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Even though the gun was unloaded, it only it's unsafe practice. So he was taught really quick
yeah
that that's not okay to do.
Yeah No, and that is, see, again, that's something I love because, again, I just feel like every time I'm in an indoor range, I never have that experience, and that's why those outdoor ranges are so great. I mean, you have the opportunity to really just really take a break from everything. Everyone's getting the same treatment across the board. Everyone's having to be safe. Everyone's having to double check, triple check, and I love it. It's to me that feels like a much safer environment.
The cons for me, one of the big cons of outdoor ranges is you go on a weekend. Sometimes they're pretty crowded.
Oh yeah.
Right now, since we're not in daylight savings time anymore, a lot of people don't have time to go during the week. So if you want to show up early in the morning when they open on the weekend, you got to show up pretty early to get a good spot.
Yeah.
And then if they have separate ranges, and you want to shoot pistols for a while, then move to a rifle range, well, you might not get any openings in the rifle range.
Right.
So you either got to wait or you got to just kind of shoot pistols or, wait around or, do something else.
Yeah.
It's not it's a little more convenient than going to the open desert, but it's going to take a lot longer than going to an indoor range. You don't expect to go in there, shoot an hour or two on a weekend in the morning, and then go home and go about your day.
Right.
Every time I've gone to an outdoor range, it's been at least a half a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot more time.
Well, and you are paying, and that's the other thing is it is expensive. It's nice though. You are paying for the whole day, which is great most of the time. But it is expensive in the fact that if you did want to just go and shoot and then shoot pistols and then move to the rifle range and you couldn't find a spot, I mean, you've dropped a lot more money than you might have at an indoor range just to shoot pistols, and so in essence, it can be very expensive to shoot there as well. And that's if it's crowded, if it's packed, you're not going to be able to shoot as long as maybe you might like, and so for me, that's kind of where I'm kind of like, it is what it is. I mean, we've been to the trap and skeet ranges too, where you're waiting for whole parties of people to go through, and I mean, you'll sit there for a good half an hour before you even get a chance to shoot.
Yeah, the only difference I see with the trap and skeet range is you kind of know how you have an idea of how long someone's been there,
right?
How long it takes to go through a whole round of skeet,
right.
Where when you're out just a regular open range, outdoor range, it's you don't know how long somebody's
been
there.
If someone wants to shoot for thousands of rounds, I mean, they could. Well, and the one nice thing about trap and skeet too is it is done in rounds, not as in ammo rounds, but as in rounds, of each round. You're going to shoot 25 clays.
Yes.
And so the nice thing is oftentimes if it is crowded, you can change off every other round by allowing the party that's, there to shoot around, and then you go in and shoot around and stuff. So,
and most people are typically pretty nice.
Yeah, they're very courteous generally on the trap and skeet ranges. So for me, that's really the main reason why I prefer outdoor ranges. Yeah,
the only thing with the trap and skeet is you're paying per round. So
that can get pricey. Very expensive. Yes.
If you want to do 3 or 4 rounds, you're looking to spend a pretty good amount of money for, you're not really shooting for that much time.
Right.
For us, how long would you think it would be to do a round of trap?
It depends on how many people. We usually shoot with like 3 or 4 people at the most. With 3 or 4 people, you've got 25. I would say you're probably shooting. I mean, it probably takes you about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say 15 minutes on the long end. I mean, I would say more between 10 and 15.
Yeah. It just depends on how long it takes everybody.
And how fast everybody shoots.
And how fast they're reloading and things like that. I know at our local range now, they only let you have 1 round in at a time now.
Yes.
And so that, it didn't used to be that way. That's a new rule that they have there now. It used to be you just had to have it plugged and you could have up to 3 rounds in there. But that's obviously slowing time down quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. And it also doesn't let you do those second shots.
Right.
If you miss your first one,
let me try and get that next. Get it on the next round. As it's way off in the distance, and you're not going to hit it.
But you got to try.
You have to. You do have to.
You know, I shoot a full choke, so I can hit.
Oh yeah. It really doesn't do me much good with the improved cylinder. So
let's go back to the cigar. We're both done with ours.
Yeah. You finished a little while ago, and I just finished mine.
You know, it's very consistent. That's the word I'm going to use for this. These little cigarillos, they're consistent. They're always the same, and they're always pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, you don't expect some robust flavor out of them. They're very simple, very good, very mild.
Yeah.
I like to smoke them.
The best thing about them is because they come in those foil packs, you don't have to have a humidor. Like, if you're a guy that wants to smoke, but I don't want to get the humidor, I don't want to worry about seasoning it, maintaining it, having all these cigars, you could buy these cigarillos, or the cigars also come wrapped in the aluminum, each one, in sealed. You could buy these cigars and have them sit in your closet for 3-4 years, pull them out, and they're going to be just as fresh as the day you bought them. And so that's kind of why I like these for people who really don't smoke that often or haven't smoked at all before, because, you know, it gives them that sense of like, oh, I'm having a cigar, but I also don't have to maintain it. I also don't have to drive all the way down to the store and buy one, and so they're really, really great to have around. These are my go-to when we go on hunting trips, fishing trips, and going to Vegas, because I don't mind if they get crushed in my bag, but at the same time, I don't have to carry around a travel humidor. They're just very, very easy. They're very easy.
Yes, for me, I'm not a big... I don't like to smoke when I'm doing something. I know a lot of people like to smoke while they're golfing or, you know, things
Fishing,
like that. And to me, I like, if I'm going to smoke, that's going to be what I'm going to do for that amount of time.
Right.
These are something that I can smoke while I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, you smoke them mowing the lawn, things like that.
Yeah.
Where for me, you know, a bigger cigar, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to smoke that while I'm mowing the lawn and these I'll smoke, you know, on the golf course or something really simple, like in a casino while you're gambling. Or, and you know, they're done real quick. I like to take these fishing.
Yeah.
I've never smoked hunting, but fishing, yeah, definitely.
Right.
It's cool just to kick back.
Yeah.
Light up a cigarillo, and you know, what people don't take into consideration sometimes is lighting a cigarette while you're fishing. I'm sorry, a cigar while you're fishing. Can be pretty tough sometimes with the wind conditions.
Yes.
You know, these things light up real quick, and it's convenience.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Totally.
So yeah, let's go back to the topic, firearms topic.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Ryan's favorite, the open desert.
Open desert, yes. I've spent probably more time shooting in the open desert than I have shooting anywhere else. And it's not because I've gone more times, it's because you spend a lot more time shooting.
Yes.
It's an all-day commitment when you're shooting in the open desert. At least it is out here. I mean, we're lucky. We probably only have like an hour to an hour and a half drive to the closest place that we can just get out of the truck and start shooting. Some people have to drive a lot further than that to get into the desert. So actually, you would be one who probably has a bit longer of a drive than I do.
Yes, and that's kind of why I don't do it as much.
Right.
It's almost a trip, you know. It's a big ordeal.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a lot of commitment. Especially too if you're going to be shooting a lot of different things. I mean, it just takes forever to load up the truck with everything, and because now not only are you taking all of your rifles and pistols and shotguns, you got to take your own targets, you got to take stuff to build targets, whether that be wood frames. A lot of times people take things out there that are just crazy to shoot, like computers and TVs, and you know, the nice thing about the desert, in my opinion, the reason why I love shooting at the desert more than anywhere else, is you have total freedom over your range.
Yes.
You are the range master, which is pretty cool. So you can shoot as quickly as you want, you can shoot as much as you want, you can shoot as far as you want, you could shoot pistols on a rifle range, you could shoot shotguns on a pistol range. I mean, because it's just the open desert. There's no rules whatsoever. The only rules that we have is obviously just be safe. And that obviously, when you're going out with a group of people that you know everyone's capabilities, you know what everyone is, what their level of expertise is. And so you know who you need to spend more time with, and oftentimes we go out with guys that already know what they're doing, so we don't have to worry about that too, which is nice. I would say the other great thing about it is generally you're not going to run into a whole lot of people, if anyone at all. Mm-hmm. And the other great thing is you have total control over the line breaks, so if you want to stop shooting and go check your targets after one bullet, you can do that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. I like to have total control. One thing about open desert shooting is you tend to shoot a lot of ammo. Yeah. So although it's not very expensive because it's free to actually shoot there,
right?
It could be pretty expensive if you're
in ammo costs.
Yeah, ammunition costs.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing with the Freedom. It comes with a little bit of a price, although the people that I take are usually pretty responsible. You might have a party of people near you that are not.
Right.
And that's always one thing that concerns me, especially going to the open desert in popular areas. There are certain areas around here that I know are known for shooting, and those ones you kind of try to avoid.
Yeah.
I know of one where people will stay overnight and camp and shoot, and you just never know what people are going to be like. They're going to be drinking, or
right.
I've always I've never drank alcohol and shotguns before.
Yeah,
it's just not something I'll ever do.
Yeah.
It's not safe. It's not something that's even legal.
Yeah, no, I second that 100%. I think for me, that is a very, very important thing. And some of the guys that we go with, they like to drink, and I have absolutely no issues with that as long as all the guns are put away once the beers come out. And that, to me, is the most important thing. But yeah, you're right. You literally could be there, have your place staked out, there's no one else there, everything's going great, and have a wild party come right up next to you with, a lot of alcohol, or who knows, loud music even sometimes can be really distracting when you're trying to sight in a rifle or actually focus on your marksmanship. The other thing that I don't like too, this is a con for me out in the desert ranges, is you have a tendency, or at least I have noticed, there's a tendency to have these other parties that show up that want to shoot together. They'll have guns that, in my opinion, are not necessarily California legal.
Yes.
Such as fully automatic assault rifles or modified assault rifles, or things that, in my opinion, the moment you hear that thing go off, it's like, oh, I don't want to be here right now. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, don't even want to be associated with that.
Yeah, like just leave me alone. You go do what you're going to go do, and just leave me out of it. So that can definitely be a downer on an entire desert trip, especially if you planned it for a while. You get out there, and the next thing you know, the dude's firing full automatic with a totally non-California compliant AR, and it's definitely a downer on those.
Yeah, and that's one thing with going to just a regular outdoor range, is having that range officer kind of there to check everybody and make sure that you're shooting stuff that you can shoot. Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things. No one's ever going to bring a modified AR-15 rifle to the outdoor range. They're just not going to do it, because they're going to have to check it in, and it's going to get inspected, and immediately, that's going to red flag. So
yeah, and regular outdoor ranges, or I shouldn't say regular, because the one that I go to is what I mean.
Yeah.
They check your ammo too, because they don't want you to shoot steel core.
Yeah.
They don't want to cause fires.
Yeah.
The other, going back to the open desert, the other thing that kind of disappoints me sometimes is just the mess in some of the areas.
Yeah.
So where we go on vacation up in the Sierras, we always kind of take extra bags and throw some trash in there.
Right.
Without having a range master there to tell you to pick up your shells, it seems like nobody does.
Right. Yeah.
It amazes me. It's like, people just don't care.
Well, it's almost like
beyond what they're doing.
a landfill now, where people start realizing, well, there's all kinds of other shells here, so what's the harm if I don't pick up my shells? And that kind of breeds that same attitude over and over again. I mean, like I said, the reason why I know people take computers and TVs out there to shoot is because you find mangled computers and TVs, and I've seen everything from dressers, with all the drawers shot out. I've seen tables that have been shot up. I mean, it's insane, some of the things that you see out there, and some of the things that have been just left out there. And so we always make sure to try and pick up as much as we can. And sometimes, again, it's that same idea when we go out hunting and you want to leave no trace. Sometimes you're not going to be able to find the shell that you just shot. You can look no matter what. It's even harder when it's in a pile of 1,000 other shells. So my thing is, I always just try and pick up more than what I shot, and that's always my goal, is to just get out of there with everything that I brought in and more. Yeah,
the one area where we go, there's even like trash cans out there. It's BLM land.
Yeah.
But they know that people shoot there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Where people know you can shoot there, so they know you can take stuff, and you might get more people there than if you just went to a regular spot that you found out in the desert.
Yeah.
But I've seen couches there, and things where you're like, wow, how did this end up here?
Yeah.
Tires and
like, who would take the effort to bring that all the way out here just to shoot it? Like, sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Yes, and I can see why that didn't get picked up. I mean, who's going to pick up a couch? And even guys like us who go out there to bring some stuff back.
Up, yeah.
It's like, wow, there's nothing I can do with that couch.
Yeah, I can't take that back. Yeah. No, and that's where the double-edged sword, in my opinion, is just a tad too sharp. I mean, you're getting a lot of people out there that really don't have any respect. Because, I mean, to me, in my opinion, I would just never take a couch out there to begin with.
Yes.
Because I know that there's just no way I'm going to get it back, you know what I mean, or bring it back in one piece. So.
Yeah, and I just don't see the value in shooting a couch.
No, that too. I mean, like, tile makes sense. It explodes, and it's
cool.
It's granite or whatever. You're going to return it right back to the earth, and you pick up what you can, and it's just one of those things where.
Yeah, I mean, I totally see the value in shooting something that's going to, break
and explode
and
turn right back into dirt or gravel, and
it's a little cooler to see something.
Yeah,
when you shoot something, you're just like, okay, I know I shot that.
Right. Yeah. Rather than, did I even hit that? I can't tell. It didn't move. It didn't do anything.
A couch is.
Yeah. The best thing though is to honestly, if you're gonna go that route, is to build a small wood frame and just put your targets up on that too. And so that's something that we've built one, and I'm excited to take it out this next time. So.
Yeah, the other cool thing about shooting in the open desert is your targets, you can shoot whatever you want. The range that I go to, the outdoor range, does not allow you to shoot steel. And steel targets are super cool to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, because you immediately know whether you're accurate or not. The ones that we like to shoot too out in the desert are like Kansas, like tomato soup or things like that, because you punch the hole in the can, you see the evidence that you've hit it, but the can, you can just pick it right up and throw it away when you're done, and that's always a great little indicator too. So a lot of people we notice now shoot colored water bottles.
Oh yeah,
so they'll just take water bottles out there and put like some food dye in the water, and so you can see when you hit it, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of really efficient ways to shoot without totally destroying the environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my ideal shooting range, and this is going to sound ridiculous,
right,
would just be a nice open desert at my house.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody watches Hickok 45, but man, I wish I had that set up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's just so many really great spots.
No, but in all seriousness, for me personally, the type of range that I've been to the most is just a regular paid outdoor range.
Yeah.
And the reason why is it's just the mix of convenience and freedom. You don't get the total freedom like you would in the open desert. It's just a lot easier for me to get there, though.
Yeah. Well, and it is safer. It is truly. It is safer.
But I do like to make open desert trips. I mean, that's
who doesn't like that?
It's just it's a commitment, though. You can't just call me up and say, hey, tomorrow let's go shooting.
No, it's one of those things
Because-
you got to plan in advance.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I got to go, well, I don't even know if I have enough ammo on me. You know what I mean? And it's not something that you can just, plan that quickly. It's got to be a trip. It's almost like going on a hunting trip, you know? It's that level of planning that you need to...
Well, what's funny
me,
is I was making fun earlier of the indoor ranges of, you start renting guns, and before you know it, you're over $200. My last outdoor open desert trip, I spent $200 on ammo, like easily. I probably spent more than that, but what I was able to calculate was about $200. So, it's definitely. I'm ripping on both of the other ranges for being expensive, but in reality, you do shoot a lot more out there.
Yeah, but if you want to break it down break it down with how much shooting you're doing. For the amount of money,
right?
That's going to be a big difference because the outdoor you're going to be doing a lot more shooting, in the open desert. Yeah. For the amount of money you spend.
Oh yeah, for me to replicate that amount of shooting in an outdoor controlled range or an indoor range, I would be spending a lot more on range fees.
Yes, because you don't get to shoot nearly as much in your regular outdoor range because of the time, the line breaks, and things like that. Moving from range to range. Yeah.
And there's
you don't get as much range time
in both outdoor and indoor ranges. And I know I briefly mentioned this, but there's a lot of times where you're not allowed to shoot quickly, like rapid fire, so to speak. Like you're not allowed to just boom, 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 boom. You have to have. I know most indoor ranges, it's like 1 second between each shot. And so if you're practicing things like failure drills or can I stay on target in a situation where I maybe am concealed carrying and need to put down some suppressive fire or, whatever. A lot of these law enforcement guys have to practice very specific things. And they have their own ranges oftentimes, but like if you were on the way home from work and couldn't hit your range and wanted to go to the indoor range and practice something like that, you can't do it.
Yes, you can't.
You just can't even do it. And so that's where the desert range allows you to practice a wide variety of shooting techniques that you wouldn't be able to do at most other ranges. Yes.
Another big one that they don't let you do, and even with the outdoor range that I go to, unless you get a private range, is practicing from a holster. They won't let you holster your guns. All your guns have to be on the table when you're not shooting them. Yep. Desert definitely let you practice more things. Right. The other thing too is shooting multiple targets. You can do that in the desert, which you really can't because even though you don't necessarily have a lane in an outdoor range, you still have people next to you. Yeah. So you cannot just take up the whole,
be shooting left to right all the way across and sweeping. Well, and the other thing, speaking of the holstering, the other thing is you can't practice things like 3-gun. No. Or you can't practice transitioning from maybe an AR platform to a sidearm or anything even remotely similar to that, And so that's another thing. Like I said, we could go on and on about the different drills that you could do out in the desert that you can't. But those are just some of the big ones that I noticed that a lot of people don't like at ranges, and I hear oftentimes that's why I go to the desert, to practice things like that.
Yeah, and like I said, ideally I would like to go out to the desert. It's just it's a commitment.
Oh yeah, it's probably an extra hour almost for you.
Yeah, about.
And so, like I said, for me at an hour to an hour and 30 minutes, it's not bad. But then that turns into two and a half hours for you, or for you. So it's
be pretty time consuming.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, it would be great if they had a desert range that was at my house, also with a trap and ski setup too. That would be the ultimate range.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So, anyways,
so let's kind of recap this. The cigar was Garcia y Vega, correct?
Yep, and it was good.
A little cigarillo.
Simple but good.
I liked it. Very simple. Paired with a very simple whiskey.
Which I thought the vanilla paired well with the vanilla of the cigarillo. It's weird. I've never noticed that before until tonight.
The one thing that I like about Gentleman Jack, I like this with all whiskeys, is when the ice melts a little bit. I know I've said that before. Mm-hmm. But for some reason with Gentleman Jack, it really takes it to another level for me. The initial sips of Gentleman Jack are always just okay for me. Yeah. Where with a different whiskey, sometimes I like the more the stronger whiskey flavor. Right. I like it less diluted. but for whatever reason, even with regular Jack Daniels, I've always liked a little bit of ice melt in there.
Well, what's weird is with a lot of other whiskeys, you like the ice melt or whatever that, whatever it might be. Some guys will even add water into their whiskey just to give it kind of that, to smooth it out maybe a little bit. It's one of those things where oftentimes when you do that, it helps to bring down the intenseness of the whiskey, or maybe soften some of the harsher flavors. I feel like when the water melts or the ice melts into Gentleman Jack, it almost adds or accentuates the existing flavors, which we initially said it's smooth, but it's not super bold. I feel like I pick up a little more of the flavor when I have the water in there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. A little more of the vanilla caramel, they say. The nuanced flavors.
It almost gets a little sweeter.
It kind of takes away the big oakiness.
Yes, and I think that's more, maybe it is kind of reducing the flavor, but in doing so, you're able to taste some of the lighter flavors in it. So, yeah, no, it's really good. I could drink it every day. It's good. There's no words. It's so good.
All right. Well, do you have any closing thoughts?
If you want to go shooting on a range, go do it. Don't let anything we said change your opinion one way or the other. Try all three of them. Decide what one you like best for yourself. Obviously we just give our opinions, and you're gonna find what you love, and it's probably gonna be based on what you shoot. So go out, shoot, enjoy yourself, and figure out what one you like best.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I would say too, is just go to a range that suits what you want to shoot for that day. Your time, your wallet, whatever.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Whatever's whatever fits all of that. Sometimes some people only have time for quick indoor range sessions.
Yep.
But just go out there and shoot and practice, because firearm ownership has a lot to do with practice and knowing what you're doing with a weapon. A lot of people that I know, they don't really shoot their guns, and they think, okay, well, when the time comes, I'll be able to do this and that. And it's like, well, I mean,
it's pretty humbling when you get out to the range and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go, and you go, oh, whoa, I'm not very good at what I do, or what I think I can do.
The more range time, the more you realize how hard it is to be good.
Yeah, it's true.
So just get out there and practice.
Yeah, get out there, practice, figure out what works best, and that's the most important thing. Just get out there and stay out there, man. Have fun.
And as always, thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate the support. And until next time.
Signing off.